The Philippines is spending $8 billion to build bridges across open ocean. Massive structures connecting entire islands, some stretching over 32 kilometers of water exposed to typhoons, earthquakes, and some of the most unpredictable seas in the Pacific. The goal? To physically unite a nation of 7,641 islands. Here's what happens when infrastructure becomes a test of national survival. The problem: when geography is your enemy. Most countries worry about building better roads. The Philippines has to worry about whether people can reach the road at all. Imagine running a business where your suppliers are on one island, your customers on another, and the only way to connect them is a ferry that gets cancelled every time a storm rolls in. That's not a logistics problem. That's a structural handicap. The Philippines has 7,641 islands. Only about 2,000 are inhabited. The rest are scattered across 300,000 square kilometers of ocean. To put that in perspective, that's roughly the size of Italy, but broken into pieces, separated by water. And water doesn't just separate places, it isolates economies. Right now, moving goods between islands means loading containers onto ferries, waiting for weather windows, and accepting that a trip that should take 2 hours by car could take 2 days by sea. During typhoon season, and the Philippines faces an average of 20 typhoons per year, entire regions can be cut off for weeks. This fragmentation shows up everywhere. Metro Manila, the capital region, generates about 31% of the country's GDP. That's not because other regions lack resources or talent. It's because Manila is connected to ports, airports, highways, and each other. The rest of the country fights geography just to participate. Take agriculture. The Visayas and Mindanao regions produce massive amounts of rice, sugar, and seafood. But getting those products to consumers in Luzon, where most of the population lives, means ferry schedules, cargo delays, and costs that pile up with every transfer. By the time a fish reaches Manila, it's been through 3 different transport modes and 2 middlemen. The result? Prices rise, quality drops. Farmers earn less while consumers pay more. The inefficiency isn't a bug, it's baked into the geography. And then there's labor. Skilled workers from Visayas can't easily commute to jobs in Metro Manila. Factories in Luzon can't efficiently source materials from Mindanao. Universities in one region can't easily collaborate with industries in another. For decades, the answer was simple: accept it. Islands mean isolation. That's just how it is. But in the last 10 years, something shifted. The government stopped accepting geography as fate and started asking a different question. What if we could physically connect the archipelago? Not with better ferries, not with faster flights, with bridges. The plan: 3 mega-projects to rewrite the map. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s Build Better More program, the Philippines is betting nearly $8 billion on 3 massive bridge projects designed to do what no previous administration seriously attempted: turn the Philippine archipelago into a connected landmass. The centerpiece is the Bataan-Cavite Interlink Bridge, a 32.15-kilometer crossing over Manila Bay. If completed, it would be one of the longest sea bridges in the world. Right now, traveling from Bataan province to Cavite means driving around Manila Bay, a journey that can take 4 to 6 hours depending on traffic. The bridge would cut that to 40 minutes. But this isn't about commute times, it's about logistics. Bataan is home to the Freeport area of Bataan, an industrial and trade hub. Cavite has one of the country's busiest port areas and a massive concentration of manufacturing. Connecting them directly creates an entirely new economic corridor that bypasses Metro Manila's congestion. Think of it like building a highway that doesn't just connect 2 cities, it creates a third economic zone in between. The bridge will cost $3.91 billion, financed through a combination of Asian Development Bank loans, $2.1 billion, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank co-financing, $1.14 billion, and Philippine government funding, $664 million. Construction is targeted to begin before the end of 2025, with completion estimated around 2029. Then there's the Panay-Guimaras Negros Bridge, a proposed 32.47-kilometer network linking 3 major islands in the Visayas. This isn't one bridge, it's 2 sections working as a single system. Section A connects Panay to Guimaras over 13 kilometers. Section B links Guimaras to Negros across 19.47 kilometers. Together, they transform 3 separate economies into one integrated region. Panay grows rice and hosts major ports. Guimaras produces mangoes and seafood. Negros is the sugar capital of the Philippines. Right now, trading between them means ferry schedules and weather delays. A bridge network would let them function as a single integrated region, sharing labor, resources, and markets in real time. The total cost? Approximately 189 billion Philippine pesos, roughly $3.4 billion. Construction of Section A is scheduled to begin in mid-2026, with completion targeted for June 2028. Section B follows in 2030. And there's the Cebu-Cordova Link Expressway, already completed and operational since April 2022. It's an 8.9-kilometer toll bridge connecting Cebu City to Mactan Island. That might sound modest compared to 32-kilometer ocean crossings, but it changed how an entire metropolitan area functions. What used to be a 90-minute ferry-dependent commute is now a 15-minute drive. The impact was immediate. Property values on Cordova surged. Businesses expanded. Tourists could move between the city and the airport without logistical anxiety. It proved the concept. Bridges don't just move people faster. They unlock economic potential that geography kept frozen. The Cebu-Cordova Bridge cost approximately $630 million and was completed as a public-private partnership. It's now the longest bridge in the Philippines and serves as the proof of concept for what larger projects could achieve. Combined, these 3 projects represent nearly $8 billion in infrastructure investment, roughly 1.7% of the Philippines' GDP. Spread over a decade, it's manageable, but only if these projects deliver the economic returns they promise. Building bridges over calm water is expensive. Building them in the Philippines is something else entirely. The country sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, which means earthquakes are a constant threat. It's also in the path of an average of 20 typhoons per year, some with sustained winds exceeding 250 kilometers per hour. And the seabed in many proposed crossing areas drops to depths of over 100 meters. This isn't a place where you can just sink some concrete pillars and call it a day. Take the Bataan Cavite Bridge. Manila Bay might look calm on a map, but the seafloor isn't uniform. Parts of it are deep silt that can't support traditional foundations. Engineers are designing pile systems that go down 80 meters or more, essentially anchoring the bridge into bedrock beneath layers of sediment. Then there's the typhoon problem. A bridge can't just survive wind. It has to survive storm surge, wave action, and the debris that hurricanes throw at coastal structures. That means designing for worst-case scenarios that haven't happened yet, but inevitably will. And earthquakes add another layer. The Philippines experiences thousands of seismic events every year. Most are minor, but the big ones reshape coastlines. Engineers have to design bridges that can flex without breaking, using seismic dampeners, flexible joints, and materials that absorb shock rather than resist it. Japan has some of the best earthquake-resistant bridge technology in the world, and Filipino engineers are studying those designs closely. But Japan's bridges weren't built across 30 kilometers of open ocean in a typhoon corridor. The Philippines is writing the manual as it goes. And then there's maintenance. Salt water corrodes steel faster than almost anything else. Humidity accelerates rust. Typhoons test every weld and joint repeatedly. A bridge that lasts 100 years in Europe might last 50 in the Philippines, and only if it's aggressively maintained. That's the hidden cost. Building the bridge is the headline. Maintaining it for decades is the long-term financial commitment that doesn't get the same attention. What changes if it works? If the bridges get built and survive, the Philippines doesn't just get faster travel. It gets a fundamentally different economy. Start with logistics. Right now, shipping costs between islands can add significant premiums to the price of goods. That's not because shipping companies are exploiting customers. It's because ferries are slow, weather-dependent, and require multiple loading and unloading steps. Bridges eliminate most of that friction. A truck can leave Bataan, cross directly to Cavite, and deliver goods the same day. No ferry schedule, no weather delays, no cargo transfers. That speed advantage compounds across every industry that moves physical products. Tourism changes too. Right now, visiting multiple islands means planning around ferry schedules and weather windows. It's an adventure, but it's also a barrier. Bridges make multi-island tourism as easy as a road trip. That opens up new revenue for regions that were always beautiful but logistically difficult to reach. But the deeper shift is regional integration. Right now, Metro Manila dominates because it's the only place where everything connects. But if Cavite, Bataan, and nearby provinces function as a single connected region, businesses have a choice. They don't have to be in Manila to access markets, ports, and labor. That redistribution of economic activity could ease the pressure on an overcrowded capital while developing regions that have been underfunded for decades. The same logic applies to the Visayas. If Panay, Guimaras, and Negros are connected by bridges, they stop competing and start cooperating. Labor can move between islands for jobs. Factories can source materials locally without logistical nightmares. Universities and research centers can collaborate in real time. In theory, the bridges create a multiplier effect where infrastructure investment pays for itself through faster growth, higher productivity, and broader economic participation. In theory. The risks. When infrastructure isn't enough. Bridges solve connectivity. They don't solve everything else. The first risk is financial. Nearly $8 billion is a massive bet, and much of it will be financed through international loans and public-private partnerships. That means debt service, payments that have to be made whether or not the bridges generate expected revenue. If traffic volumes are lower than projected, if toll revenues don't meet forecasts, or if maintenance costs exceed estimates, the financial model breaks. And when infrastructure projects fail financially, governments end up covering the shortfall. That's taxpayer money diverted from education, healthcare, or other priorities. Then there's the climate risk. The bridges are being designed for today's typhoons and today's sea levels. But climate change is shifting both. Storms are getting stronger, seas are rising. A bridge designed to last 75 years might face conditions in year 30 that exceed its original specifications. And there's the uneven benefit problem. Infrastructure connects places, but it doesn't guarantee that all places benefit equally. If bridges simply make it easier for businesses to consolidate in already developed areas, rural regions could end up more marginalized, not less. History is full of examples where new roads and bridges drained economic activity from smaller towns toward larger cities. The Philippines has to actively prevent that through policy, incentives, and regional development programs that go beyond just building the physical structure. Finally, there's the question of priorities. Nearly $8 billion is real money. Some critics argue it would be better spent on healthcare infrastructure, education, or climate resilience. That's not a purely economic question. It's a values question about what kind of development matters most. The Philippines has always been defined by water. It's what makes the country beautiful. It's also what keeps it fragmented. For most of history, that fragmentation was accepted as unchangeable. Islands were islands. Distance was destiny. But infrastructure has always been humanity's way of arguing with geography. The Roman Empire built roads to hold together an empire that spanned continents. The United States connected its coasts with railroads that turned isolated territories into a unified market. China built the Belt and Road Initiative to reshape global trade routes. The Philippines is trying to do something similar, but instead of connecting countries, it's connecting itself. If it works, the bridges won't just move cars faster. They'll reshape where people live, where businesses grow, and how the country thinks about its own geography. The archipelago stops being a limitation and starts being a network. But if it fails, if the bridges can't survive the storms, if the debt becomes unsustainable, if the economic benefits don't materialize, then nearly $8 billion becomes a cautionary tale about infrastructure ambition colliding with geographical reality. Either way, the Philippines is building something unprecedented, and the outcome will be determined not by engineering alone, but by whether the country can turn physical connections into economic transformation. Because in the end, bridges don't guarantee unity, they just make it possible. Let us know what you think about that in the comments section, and enjoy our next video shown on screen.